Hi, I did this some months ago. I've put it in a frame. It's pure watercolour, no ink work. And some things are better in watercolour, like the skies. You couldn't get that sort of sky with acrylic or oil. It's a peculiar technique to watercolour paper. It's what water does. It's always a bit unpredictable until you get to this sort of stuff, which stays where it's put. But with the skies and this sort of thing, you're very much in the lap of the gods. So it's a case of just having a go and hoping for the best, really. You can always try again, but some things are better said in watercolour than being more hard mediums. And I tried to do this in acrylic, but I think it's just a step too far. It's better to do something else with the acrylic than that. So I'll come up to where I started yesterday, and I was demonstrating this one, but it didn't work. I didn't get anywhere with it, so I painted over it. And I'm going to establish a sky, but I do like using three colours, like burnt sienna or light red. They're both very, very similar colours. Light red, black and yellow ochre. It's quite a challenge, but you can. It's trying to go as far as you can with the very limited palette. I've got all the other colours on the palette, as you can see, but we've got to use white, of course, loads and loads of white. But I couldn't quite get the sky light enough. But I'd probably done too many. We were on holiday till last Wednesday, and I didn't have the time to do anything until Friday, Saturday, Monday. And I've done 8 videos, and I've just started to accrue a little bit of money from YouTube, which has taken a long time. I didn't start out to make money out of this, but I got hooked on it. I got carried away. So all the painting I've done in the last 18 months has been demonstrated on YouTube. It doesn't amount to a huge amount of hours, but then I wouldn't want to do this 8 hours a day. It's far too intense. What a nice relaxing hobby we have, don't we? We don't have problems, it all goes swimmingly, we lose ourselves in it, we don't have any problems to solve. They don't know, do they? Right, okay, let's, so I had this bit of a grey sky there, and I'm going to use a bit of light red, bit of blue, to see what sort of grey I can get. The light red is a very, very strong colour, so be warned. So let's just put it in. Whatever you put in, you can go over. And I'm more or less trying to do what I did in the watercolour, but it won't work. That's far too red. There's a lot of white. It's a better colour. Still far too insistent. So I've got where I wanted that dark. Don't worry too much about finishing at this stage. I had a couple of lovely comments from a subscriber in Indonesia. She writes English very well, so I presume she'll know who I'm talking about. I won't embarrass her by giving her stage name. She's a teenager, but I don't do anything special. What I do is the result of many years of practice. I haven't got any great ability other than that which I've learnt from my own experience. I've had many failures. A lot of the YouTube demos look a lot better online on the computer screen than they do in real life. That's why I'm painting over some of them. Can't waste your nice paint, your nice paper. Don't throw anything away, you can always be painted over in a different medium. But it's practice. practice, practice, practice. Do it. Don't give up when you can't, when you think you can't do it. What am I using? Big pot of white. I get this from Claes Olsen because it goes up every time you go in, but it lasts for ages. It's a litre pot, and it's very good because it's not saturated as an artist quality. But then I'm demonstrating, and I don't use artist quality anyway. So don't give up when you can't do it. I couldn't do it. I still can't in a lot of respects. I paint within my comfort zone. Nothing wrong with that. Right, so we'll get a nice bit of white and a little bit of the light red in there. And we'll put in our nice cloud behind the trees, which there's a problem with this when you paint on paper. It's very smooth. The Fabriano, the Bockingford £140 is a better weight to use. I might do a similar one to that I did yesterday. I might not put a building in, but then I might. But I do like dramatic skies. And I'm not sure that is a very good grey. It's something wrong with it. I'll use a bit of black in that, and that's still far too dark. Make your skies of silver, not of lead. I think Turner said that. I'm not sure. I didn't. And we can probably put a bit of sunset in there. I'll just work at it until I've got something that I quite like. So a bit of a night sky. But using just the three colours. I'll keep it a bit impressionist. Just let it evolve. Should let some of the brush marks show. Don't smooth it all out. Something happening in that sky. Put some lighter clouds in. Right, that was blue. Oh, that's a bit of grey. Now, I mentioned on several of the videos that I've just done that being in Cornwall, just about every sky that I've ever painted went over with a lot of rain. But we had a nice sun as well. It wasn't all gloom, doom, gloom. So I want light there to counter-change whatever I put in front, maybe some trees, but we want some clouds scudding across there. See my palette? There it is. It's a Masterson Stay Wet palette. Instead of using the membranes that they supply, which do rot, I'm using a bit of synthetic sponge. It seems to do just as well, as long as it soaks up water. The membrane is one way. It lets the water through, but it doesn't let the paint back. Unless you put great holes in the stuff. Now this might look good to you, but I can assure you that I've done thousands of them. And sure enough, the sky that you do you will eventually see, guaranteed. When people say, oh, that doesn't look very realistic, but then they say, oh, they come back a few weeks later and say, yeah, that sky you did, Dave, I've just seen one like it. So there you go. So there we got a sky there, look. Right, let's get a bit of grey in there. Just a shadow. Don't smooth it out too much. There we go, there. Yeah, that'll do. I'm not going to do anything else with that. Now a bit of foreground. I'll put my lovely watercolour away. I do think it's a good watercolour. It's one of my favourites. I'm sure I did it as a demonstration months ago, but it's one of the better ones, I have to say. Right, clean your brushes, don't let the acrylic dry on them, whatever you do. I've got rid of hundreds of brushes, but I'll show you around the... that television is not used, it's one of the old analogue ones with a Freeview box on it. Look, they're all my brushes. Going on my... Oops, sorry about the creaky. My mess. Look, that's the mess and chaos that I work in. It's just... this is a lovely tripod on which the camera is mounted, but it's £15 a little, which is very good, but it's a bit creaky because it's solid plastic. I don't think there's any metal in it, but it's good. It does me. There you go. So back to the workspace. There we go. Right, let's just make that a little bit. That's it. You see that? Okay. Let's put in a bit of foreground now. Yeah, foreground, middle distance. I've got some burnt sienna on it. It's almost exactly the same colour as a light red, so it's not really going to matter what. Either light red or the raw sienna, burnt sienna. I'll go all the way across it. There's just a bit of a hedge and trees will come out of that. I'll keep the water there. The one I did the other day, similar to this, I put a church steeple, just a focal point. Not there for any other reason other than it's a vertical. That will be our hedgerow. And I think I need a finer brush. Something like that one, I think. That's worn out. See, that's got paint all the way down to the ferrule, and it's fogged up. Oops, that's a better one. That'll do. Swig of tea. I might even put a lighter bit on top of that, just to highlight. But the light looks as if it's coming from above rather than from behind, so, well, that's okay. Oops, that's stuck from yesterday. I won't show you the painting that's underneath it. You might think it was, oh, it was so good, but it wasn't. See, we're never really satisfied. However good we think we are, we're never good enough. We could always do better. A bit old Turner would look at his paintings and think, oh, if only I was a bit better than I am. Oh, just I think I might put some slightly bigger trees in. Winter trees, love winter trees. But I'm really just touching the paper. Try to make the one side look slightly different than the other. Otherwise it will look a bit like a candy floss. But very light touch. by the time I put some rigger work in that will. I might put a few buildings, or a couple of buildings in the other side, but I can paint into that, you see. And we can put a bit of sienna in there, ochre, just. It's better. Perhaps we just mix the burnt sienna with raw sienna with the black and the other two colours. Get a very, very rich green with the yellow ochre, which is probably a more appropriate colour. But because that's dark along there, I can counter change that with some nice light. See, now that's green. That's a very dark green. That yellow ochre mixed with the black. Can you see it? I'm not going to use the lemon yellow in it. Look, that's what's the name? Look, that's very dark green. That's using yellow ochre. I certainly don't want to use the lemon yellow, but that will go into the foreground. But black and the black and the burnt sienna, or the light red. Alright, just a little bit of paint. I've used the paint on that bit there. It's a bit of a harder. I do like doing this. See, I'm drawing with the brush, really. I'm not a good drawer with a pencil. What I find is that don't try to be too literal. I was out with my mates on our little weekly bike ride this morning, and there were some lady artists who were in Malden Hall Park, they're painting away. Something I've tried, but it never works for me. I'm just not, I haven't got that ability. There's something you get better at. It's everything like everything, you practice and you get better at it. Oh, we're going to just with a dry brush here. So let's get in with some of this in there. And what I can do, I just thought about it. See, we've got that is slightly bigger than that. Is behind that, put in some blue. And I'll give a bit of depth. So blue with that mixture of grey that I've got that's in the sky. Once it's quite light, look, it's a blue grey really. Just put that in the background. And that will add depth to your work. A bit more. Oh, just here and there. You can go up into the canopy of those trees, because that will give you an impression that there's something behind, like branches and leaves behind. But don't overdo it. Just gives a background. So there's another layer. That's gone a little bit hard there, but I won't worry about that. It's full of happy accidents. Now we've got to put in a light tips of grasses, and I've got my long each flats that I use. I don't use any sables or anything. I can't afford sables. That's quite a narrow. Looks like a 3/4 inch. But some have got more hairs in than others. They're Chinese. They're cheap. Well, they were cheap. Probably not quite so cheap now. Chocolate Okay, we'll just let that dry off a little bit before I go into the rigger. Now I'm getting quite excited now. So we've got a bit of burnt sienna or light red, a bit of white, a bit of yellow, and with a fairly dry brush, let's just gently put in the tips of these grasses. I always paint like this. I don't paint at the end of my arm like that. You do whatever's best for you. Whatever makes the mark that you want, or hopefully you want. So I'm just putting that in. I can put those the lighter greens with the ochre and the black. Might put some building there, but I probably won't. It's a landscape after all. Just a little touch. And you can just go over into the black or the dark colour there, just to soften everything. There we go. And we'll put in a bit more, I think. Just a bit of stipple. We were laying in bed last night, and every 40 seconds, bleep, with the fire brigade change all our smoke alarms. Let's just take that down a little bit. And it's given a low battery warning, but they're sealed units, you can't replace the batteries, and they're guaranteed for 10 years, and they've only been in 3 months, this lot. Oh, there we are. That's very interesting. Clean the brush. So in the end, I got up at 6:10 this morning, couldn't go back to sleep. I remember one, it went off middle of the night, and I've taken it down. We've got 3, one on each floor, and I'd taken the wrong one down. Such was my stupor, but anyway, I've got to the right one. And do you think I could turn the wretched thing off? We can't open them, they're sealed. I hit it with a hammer, I drowned it, and it still came back to life. Put it in the rubbish bin, bleep, 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 oh dear. Anyway, that's by way of an aside. Let's go back with some of this warmer colour here. So you've got a load of separate little bristles that still give their little marks. Bit of warmer colour in there, I think. So I create the impression of grasses. Marsh grass. It's sort of a Norfolk scene again. Norfolk's a very beautiful county. It's very flat apart from East Norfolk, around Cromer. That's very lovely. Now let's get a bit of red in there, just a bit warm. Vary the colour a little bit. Let's get that bit warm in there. Show the light from the sky as affecting the landscape. Alright, let's do that green. So plenty of yellow ochre in with, there it is. It's just like a drab green. I'm not paying any attention to complementary colours. I'm more interested in, at this stage, in lights and darks. And we can put in some black and sienna at the bank here. I can show that coming down here. Show that tree at the back. Okay. Let's go into this corner here. Oops, oh yeah, a bit of paper off. Right, I'm going to see if we can do a bit of a lighter green there. There, look. There's no white in that, just yellow ochre and a bit of the black. And I can put a bit of white into that. Make that even lighter, so it's more of a greeny grey. Right, let's get that nice and light on there. Just scraping over the loose hairs in the brush. You can split them with your fingers if you like. Just to show the grasses. I'll do some of the rigor, but I just want to establish some of this first. Yeah, some of this on there. Okay, swig of tea. We're getting somewhere. Right, rigor. Plenty of water. I don't want to use grey. I know I paint a lot of my trees in silhouette. Well, they're easier to do, aren't they? But what? But trees aren't black. Oh, the trunks aren't. They are grey and grey greens. And put a little bit of grey green there. Need a lot of water on your rigor, otherwise it won't register. There you go, just remember that branches come down as well as go up. With a slight improvement day in the day, we haven't any rain, it's been nice and warm, nice and bike ride. We have a cup of tea, us old boys. We call it last of the summer wine. Something like that. I want to put a few in here. Shall we? We amble along, look at the fish. We saw some lovely koi carp. So we must have put them in. They're white and the one was at least 4 pounds. Beautiful things. Yeah, what we've got something going on here. You can tell I'm happy doing this. Put several trees in it. Don't want to put forest in, but But essentially this is a sky picture, and that's probably why I struggled so much with it yesterday, that it just wasn't going anywhere. But another day, hey ho. I put my lovely camping trailer away for the winter and jacked it up, took the wheels or the tyres off the floor. It's a big tent and a nice trailer, very comfortable for my wife and me, just about the right size. It takes ages to put up, but it leads to other things. Being in the countryside near the coast. Ah. And then we come here. Put some in here, there. Remember the trees get thicker at the bottom. Very fiddly, but if it goes wrong, you paint over it. And all the time you paint over something, you're getting a thicker layer of paint, and more it starts getting rougher. Which is good, because then you can dry brush. Look at that nice bowl of that tree there. I need a bit more canopy there. Oh, my neck. Quite neck aching this is. It's all the chestnut trees, chestnuts, horse chestnuts. Oh, they're struggling in Britain at the moment. They've got a disease, and it's tragic. See, one species after another: elm, ash, dieback, oak, always coming under attack from some bugger. And then we just balance it with this. So I'm sticking up here. Oh. I'm going to take that up a bit now. Right, I quite like that. I might even put a little bit of light on the top of those, on that canopy, to show that light hitting the tops of these. Now I want to do the do this. Just a bit of texture in the water. Put in some dark ones as well. Finish my tea now. Yeah, this guy's crying out for a bit of highlight, isn't it? Tiny little flicks, look, just tiny, just touching the paper. A bit of red and ochre in there. I'm going to do this in the distance because you wouldn't see them. All you're seeing is just the tips of them. Oh, there's a bit of some darker ones. So it's amazing how far you can go with 3 colours, isn't it? That is what 3 colours is the key. You need one red, you need 2 primaries, and the black and the white really. So you need a red, a yellow, not necessarily a bright yellow or bright red. I class the burnt sienna as a red, it's a deep red. And the blue. I use ultramarine, as you know, but you can use cobalt, you can use whatever you want. So this is sort of a Norfolk evening, I think we'll call this. Just making the foreground. Just get some light in here. Because that is a bit weak. Now it's dried, it's sort of dried in, so let's get these in. Right, the best I can say about this is it's a sketch. Right, I was going to do a bit of that light in the sky now, wasn't I? Let's find a clean brush. Yeah, that's the one. Let's get a nice bit of light. A bit of red. Just do that. A bit of shine underneath. Right, that will do for that. And I said I would just touch the this is quite a good quality brush. This one, I don't know, but if they're too good a quality, they don't really do what you want them to do. So we want a bit of red, a bit of white, and a bit of ochre, and let's just show some on that tree, some on there, just catching that light bit in there. Just showing the light coming through in these here. Mainly through there. Okay, we'll sign it. I know what I could do. You can do this with acrylic very quickly. Is to put a bit of that light in this landscape, and I can come over it again. Let's just. Okay, that'll do. Right, now let's go back with my dark and really establish these. Right, okay. Sign it. Clean. Get a bit of masking tape, hold it in place up here, and then put this out of the way, and put the mount on it. This doesn't exist anywhere apart from my imagination. Let's just put that up there. Alright, okay, so there we are. A simple Norfolk afternoon afternoon, morning, Norfolk morning in Norfolk, something like that. Anyway, so let's zoom in and we'll have a look at what we've done. Let's go into the sky first, because I quite like that sky. I didn't think it was going anywhere yesterday, and at the beginning of the demonstration today I thought I'd lost it. But by playing around, living life dangerously, putting that blue in, you can see now how I've given that another bit of depth. See, it stretches the landscape on my trees, very simple. And look, I've just those grasses, it's all you want for a foreground, probably better than I've done, but there's the middle distance, showing the fluffy tops of the grasses in the distance there. And the trees, how difficult was that, eh? You can do that, copy what I do. If you like it, that is. If you don't, you do your own thing. But eventually, you see, by copying, you will develop your own styles. Style is something, well, I don't know, it's a personal thing, it's a personal statement. And that's my handwriting, that says Dave Usher, as far as I'm concerned. Thanks for watching, bye bye.